Okay. What we've got is 6.1. All it is an Excel spreadsheet. It says analyze the impact of information systems and environment changes. All you're going to do on this, it has 2 tabs, is you're going to write a business impact analysis. You're going to fill in some boxes and you're going to submit it. You'll give me a certain different you can actually see it. Cody?
I don't think I can reach it either.
How's John? He's like 7 miles tall.
Off on the chair.
You could like get on his shoulders.
There we go. That's thinking outside the box. There he goes.
Did someone like rub green marker on your projector?
Looks like it. And then try to wipe it off.
Oh, on this, it was probably Ken.
That's a scan check mark, and then like, oh, I can't write on this.
Okay.
It's not the driver.
You can give me your system description. That's that whole row. You can give me the physical system location. That whole row. Security analysis. This is where you're going to tell me your secure, how you rated your system. How secure is it? You just did that in 5.3.
I'm not seeing that on.
It's under 6.1.
It's another tab.
It's under content.
At the bottom, you can grab this another type of look.
Okay, BIA.
Yeah, the BIA overview.
Okay.
Okay? Up here, you can tell me the date you completed it, who's responsible, how many of what did you have. In 534, or I'm sorry, 853, will tell you whether they were confidentiality, availability, or integrity controls. Of the ones that you did, which ones affected confidentiality, which ones affected availability, and which ones affected integrity. You're just going to give me the summary numbers. Pretty simple, right? Business impact discovery, or recovery. In the event that a system, you're going to list me at least 10 items that could possibly go wrong with your system. It could be a router, it could be your core, your distribution routers, it could be your switches, core distribution switches. How critical is it? What department is it? It's recovery priority. What is going to be the first thing that you want to recover? Your data, right? So just put a 1, data. Tell me where it is. What is the impact in this failure? How much impact would this be to your system if this was to fail?
So under critical resource function, we put switch.
Right.
Or router.
Or whatever it is that it's doing. Yes.
Whatever it is that failed, that's where we put
Or
that.
you're looking at what could fail.
Uh-huh.
And you're going to have a minimum of 10. So look for 10 things that, just in picture in your mind. Remember, I gave you how many servers we have, how many types of...
Yeah, if the Oracle server failed.
Exactly. That could be one in itself because that's the database that holds the data. Would that be the first one you want to return? Absolutely, because it has your data on it. If a network switch goes down, just flip it over to another network switch because you should have a redundant network switch, right? So is that going to be your highest priority to redo in the event of a failure?
So we need to list these, we need to choose 10 and then list them in order of priority?
You don't have to list them in order. You just have to give me a number priority from 1 to 10.
Okay.
If you have 11, it'll be 1 to 11. Basically, you're telling me what is the first thing I have to come in. If this is to fail, what is the first thing that's going to have to come back up?
Okay.
This is kind of like a disaster recovery plan, part of a disaster recovery plan in the event that something fails. How much is this going to impact my business? For example, my server goes down and it's going to take me 32 minutes to reboot it. If I have 5.9 reliability, or supposed to have 5.9 reliability, it means I can only be down for 18 seconds a year. So, did I bust my maximum allowable? You need to give me the maximum allowable and tell me how long can this be down without it affecting my business mission. Does that make sense? My system administrator got ran over by a car and he's the only one that has the password to the machine and he's in a coma. How long will it be before I have to go buy me Hiram's Boots CD to put it in there to change my password? You know, where am I going to be? You know, you don't know how long the person's going to be in the coma, right? So that's why you make sure you have multiple people that have the system administrative password. You tell me what that impact would be. How long can you last without that password? I mean, you may last 30 days without it, depending on if the system needs to be brought back up. Because you'll have a reconstitution plan that you have already developed to reconstitute the system, and you'll change your password then, right? So basically, you're just telling me if a single part fails, not the whole system. It's not like an F5 came through and tore out your building. This is if the power supply went out on my server. How long can I be down? It's not like I'm flying a UAV from Las Vegas overseas right now in the UAE, right? If that system goes down, are we in trouble? Absolutely. That has no downtime. That UAV's got to get back to wherever it took off from. So once the impact, then you can leave generic comments. I'm not going to grade the comments area. Just be realistic. And not Scott Stokely and his minions. Okay? This team. All right. Y'all understand 6.1, right? Six 5, report security status. Like I said, you remember, was it 5.1 of your poem, you had your quarterly report for your controls that are out, right? This is a Word document that's very similar. What was your security status last quarter? What happened? In the event that something failed and you did your security audit, did you find any vulnerabilities? If so, that would have been what was there in the recommendations remediations. Okay? You can make up something that you found. I want 2 or 3 things that you found last quarter. Okay? Now on the current quarter, tell me the status. Did it improve? Did it not? Are there any controls still left that were not remedied? If so, they're going to be down here, right? They're also going to be here.
This is a report from the first remediation would be the prior quarter, the second remediation.
Well, technically, you would have been within that same quarter, but hypothetically, yes. It would be like after you did your second remediation. At that point, you have all your security vulnerabilities listed. You would have put it on here on your first one that you ever write. You'd only have that 1 quarter. But then the next quarter, when you come back to do your other one, you're going to have. You got to see. Here's what was last time. Here's where we are now. Did it change for the better, or did we find something else that went wrong? You know, you've got to keep up with that quarterly, and then you would put those that failed back on your POAM. Does that
so it'd be like this is the report right before the second POAM.
Exactly. This is what's going to tell them why it's on the POAM, not just what's on the POAM. Okay? Does that make sense? I want 2 or 3 here, 2 or 3 here.
So you want 2 or 3 to fail again, or 2
No,
or 3?
two or three things that you found last quarter. Could be you found that the door handle allowed someone in the server room because it was broken, and then in here you can say that was fixed. But when you did your security walkaround, you noticed the physical security failed at that point, but now it is remedied.
Okay, so of the 5 that we failed on the POAM and are to be fixed within the next 30 to 60 days.
Right.
Which would be the end of the quarter.
That is correct.
So
Well,
we
90
put
days
those
would be
on
quarter.
the prior quarter.
Right.
And then for the current security status, do we need to have some failures?
Yes. I want 2 more failures.
Okay.
So you can put your 5 from your POAM on here, and then leave 2 that
Didn't pass.
they didn't pass, and then I want 1 new one that was not on the POAM.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
New failure?
Because you did a security walk around. Oh, my fire extinguisher is now out of date.
Okay.
I've got to get a fire mark or them to come and inspect it. It's a failure. It's a security issue, but it may have not been a failure when you did your POAM. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything outrageous. This is just kind of getting you the idea of what the reports would be that you have to do. This is what we call a FSMA quarterly report. There's a little more in depth to what you would do on a government one, but I can't go into those because some of those are classified information in there. But basically, this, in a synopsis, this is what it asks for. What was wrong last semester? What did you do to fix it? And if you still have failures, why? And then any new failures. Pretty simple. And then finally, 6, 7. There's going to be, you're going to talk about how to remove and decommission a system. I want you to assume that you're going to decommission SIPs now. Okay? In a 2-page summary, document how you would decommission a system and what would you do with the hardware, software, and any other documents associated with the system. In other words, 2 paragraphs, 2 paragraphs, 2 paragraphs. Intro and conclusion, and there's your 2 pages. The paragraphs must be 4 to 5 sentences of good stature. I went to my mommy. I cried like a baby. You know, real short 4 or 5 letter sentences. I'm talking nice, regular sentences. Tell me, you should have at least 2 paragraphs talking about how you're going to decommission hardware. What do you do with it? Where does it go? How do you get the data off of it? What do you do with it? Do you degauss it? Do you throw them in an incinerator? What do you do with the equipment? Software, what do you do with it? Yes?
APA?
Yes.
Do you see it on there?
No.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yes?
Making sure.
Yes. Huh?
I'd rather know now than have it turned in and go, oh, it needs to be APA.
We shut our
No.
hard drives.
Okay. If you cite anything, i.e. which you will, you just need to tell me where you got it from. Just attempt to cite an inline citation and give me the reference at the bottom. Okay, that's all I care about in this class. This is not an English class, so I don't expect you to give me APA, like I've told you all semester long. I'm not going to count off for APA. But if you do not give me an inline citation, but you give me a reference, I am going to deduct points. Or if you give me an inline citation and don't have a reference for it, I will deduct points. If you do not give me either and I find that you do it, I give you a 0. Does that make sense? So just make an attempt to cite it. That's all I ask. 2 pages. And notice that it says double spaced. So what are you writing? You're writing a one-page paper. Write me a good 30 sentences and you're done. How hard is 30 sentences? I will not cheat. I will not cheat. No.
You don't want them that short, so.
Exactly. Someone paid attention. Okay. And that's all you have left on this. Now, for your final exam. Now, let me put it this way. November 11th, there is no class. I will not be here. It's my son's first performance in school, so I got the daddy come to see me bug.
Daddy, mommy.
I'm thinking, Thomas and Kelly, you have kids too, right? You have
3 of them.
3 of them. So I think y'all are the only ones that would understand. Well, Wendy and I will be the first ones to go to our, but y'all understand, you know, it's one of those parent things, you want to be at the first of it, then I can miss, 15 years from now and then come back to graduation.
Bingo.
But it's his first ever performance, so I want to see what he does, how much he's going to act out, which I know he will. But that's what, we're not having class on the 11th, okay? So on the 18th, I'm going to be assigning your group a system. It will be a server of some kind. One group will get server 2008. One is going to get server 2012. And someone that's your group, by the way. And someone's going to get server 2K3. You will have a scenario. You're going to have to do everything that's in the scenario, then you're going to have to secure it. So that the other 2 groups are going to hack you.
Yeah.
Notice that this is part of this curriculum for this class. You're going to have the week of that Thanksgiving, or 18th through when we come back that first weekend, or when we get back from Thanksgiving, to secure your system. All of you will have that operating system. You need to.
vSphere?
Yes, it will be on vSphere. I will give you a specific IP address so that the other groups will have that because you can do a who is and find out the IP address of whatever web server it is anyway. But y'all are going to have to secure it. Then you will, as a group, get to attack the other two teams for the following for that following week. I will grade your systems. I will remove your permissions that Saturday night before finals week. So after that, I will grade your systems and see how many got into what. And you will have to put something in somewhere saying that you got in. And I'll tell you what you got to do to prove to me that you did get in. You'll have to take a screenshot of it or something of that nature and pinpoint it to me that you got into this server. You have to leave a marker, a certain setting. Then your group will report that to me, no one else. You're not going to tell the other teams that you got in. So you will get in, tell me what it is, and then I will go validate it. If I validate that you got in, that system was unsecure, therefore they get deducted points. Yeah.
Do we get extra points if we hack into them? Like, can we end up with like 150 if we just demolish everything?
Here's what you get. If you, for your install and security, you can get a total max of 50 points. You can get 25 points for each team that you hack. If you get in, you get the 25 points. If you do not, you do not. In other words, you can lose 50 points off your final.
So is it possible for each group to get a 100? Because if we would have to have...
No. No one will get 100.
Okay.
All you're required to do is get in one hole.
So if we hack into the two other groups and neither of them hack into us, that would be a 100?
Yes,
Alright.
that's the only possible way. But I guarantee you, you will have a vulnerability that they'll exploit, and they'll have vulnerabilities you will exploit. So I'm giving you 2 weeks while you're securing your server. You should be able to figure out what not to allow happen. Like when I say you're going to have an open web server, and you have to create a web page.
Internet.
By default, your iUser account is an anonymous account.
I'm gonna write this down.
So with your iUser account being anonymous, what's going to happen? Anyone can get into your system because you've already authenticated everyone to your system. Y'all understand?
You got any more sick tips that I can write down?
And
How much is this final worth?
25% of your course grade.
15 according to the syllabus.